Hello and welcome to another first impressions video using the drumroll Cosmic Brushes Serenity palette. My beautiful, kind, incredibly generous friend Catriona sent me the Cosmic Brushes Serenity palette along with the Muse and Delicious Delights, which I just cannot even believe. This is the palette. Oh, that reminds me, I have to do up close shots of this before I swatch it. But I did use, I think, a couple of shades in here in a Get Ready With Me that I already have uploaded, but I wanted to still do a deep dive, like first impression, swatching, all that good stuff of this palette. I went on the the Cosmic Brushes website the other day to make that thumbnail for that video, and I was surprised by how affordable these palettes were. I think I knew it at some point and I just forgot the actual price. This is $35, which is so affordable, especially for indie palettes. Nowadays, it's like kind of unheard of to have that price point in a palette, and I've heard nothing but rave reviews about Cosmic Brushes formula, and the one time I tried it, I was impressed. So I'm so excited to dive into this. Oh my gosh. I've had like a weird day, like a day full of highs and lows. So I've just been in like kind of a weird headspace and I just want to play with makeup. I know it's going to make me feel better. So let's get to swatching. Okay, so let's do some little swatches of this palette. Should I zoom in a little bit more? Yeah. Okay, let me make sure I'm in frame. Beautiful. Okay, so the first shade is a shimmer. I actually have used this one. This is the shade Opal. It's like an opal-y, iridescent green pink shade. So beautiful. Really smooth. Then we have a matte. This is the shade Pixie, which is a gorgeous purple. Like a bright matte purple. So pretty. The shade Sorbet, which is a bright lime green. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, those two colors together. That's everything. That is everything. Okay. Then we have the shade Earth, which is a like pukey brownie green. Love that. Oasis is a peach, which I feel like is such a surprising shade for this palette, but I think it adds an interesting pop. And then the shade Odyssey is the next shimmer. That feels so smooth. It is a gold metallic. That's beautiful. Then we have the shade River, which is a matte blue. The shade Forest, which I have used, I believe, as well, is a deep green. Oh, that's so pretty. It's like a blue toned deep green. The shade Spring is a beautiful mint. Matte mint. Oh, I love these mattes. These are so, so pretty. Then we have another shimmer. This is the shade Serenity, which is a deep blue shimmer with like silver sparkle to it. The shade Awake is a matte periwinkle. Oh my god. The matte shades in this are stealing my heart. And then the shade Twilight is a deep sparkly navy blue. Really sparkly, really, really beautiful. Then we have the shade Moss, which is a mossy green. It's a matte. The shade Lagoon is a matte, mid-toned, like, to me, I know that green isn't, like, there's no true green, but, like, this is, like, a very, like, mid-toned true green to me. Ooh, this next shade Mood, oh, is stunningly beautiful. It's a beautiful deep navy. Oh, that's so pretty. Then we have the last row. This is the shade Wanderer, which is a beautiful mossy metallic green. That's gorgeous. The shade Ether is a beautiful purple. Looks like a duochrome. Ooh, like a lilac purple with a green shimmer to it. I think I'm going to use that today. The shade Make-A-Wish is a pastel purple. Can I swatch these last two on my arm? I think I'm going to try. The shade Echo is a gorgeous light matte blue. And then Mystical is a matte black. We love to see it. Okay, so this is the Serenity palette, all swatched out, not in the best shade, or not in the best swatch ever, but hey, you can see the color story. I am so excited about this palette. This makes me so happy. I feel like it's such a unique color story, like for real, with gorgeous mattes. Like these swatch so beautifully and the tones are so rich. Oh my god. Am I going to just go on the Cosmic Brushes website and order? Oh no, I think it's sold out. I was gonna say, I know they just released like a Winter Wonderland palette or whatever, like a blue toned palette for holidays or winter, and I was like, am I going to go on the Cosmic Brushes website after this and order the palettes I don't have? But maybe not, because it's sold out. But if it goes back in stock, I just might. Okay, so I'm going to roll some footage of up close swatches, eye swatches, and then do a little look. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another voiceover eye swatch edition. So this is the first shade, the shade Opal, which is an iridescent green, kind of pinky blue shade. It's more on the satin side. This is me applying it dry and now wet, and then this is me using my fingers. The next shade is the shade Pixie, which is a mid-toned, really bright, kind of violet purple. It is absolutely gorgeous. I am obsessed with this shade. I think it is so, so beautiful. It's super opaque, it's really vibrant, it's really pigmented, and I am just so in love with it. It's probably one of my favorite shades in the palette, to be honest. Next up we have the shade Sorbet, which is a bright lime green matte. Again, really, really beautiful, pigmented, opaque, blendable. It's just a stunning, like, limey green. It's so, so nice. Then we have the shade Earth, which is a grungy, kind of olivey green shade. Again, I really, really love it. Honestly, most of the mattes, if not all of the mattes in this palette, are just beautiful. They're opaque, they're buildable, they're blendable, they're just so saturated and vibrant, and I really, really love it, and I love the tone of this shade. I think it is really, really beautiful. Next up we have the shade Oasis, which is a peach matte. I love the tone of this peach. I think it's so bright, and I love how bright it is and also opaque. I think it's a beautiful peach shade. Next up we have the shade Odyssey, which is the second shimmer in the palette. It's a pretty neutral metallic gold, not super yellow toned, kind of just like a regular schmegular gold shade. It's also not super sparkly, it's just like a gold metallic. It's really pretty. This is me applying it dry. And then this is me applying it with a wet brush and my fingers. Next up we have the shade River, which is a mid-toned matte blue. Almost has the slightest touch of green to it, and again, no issues with this shade. Opaque, beautiful, gorgeous. We have the shade Forest, which is a deep forest green. Again, similarly, no complaints with the performance of this shade. It's just a really, really nice, deep matte green. Next up we have the shade Spring, which is a matte pastel green. It's almost like a mint, but doesn't have quite as much blue as I typically associate a mint with, but it's just a really, really beautiful pastel. The pastels in this palette are stellar. Next up we have the shade Serenity, which is a metallic blue shade. It has kind of like a touch of like silver sparkle to it. This is me applying it dry. Similar with the shade Odyssey, this is kind of just like a regular metallic finish. It's really beautiful though. And then this is me applying it with a wet brush and my finger. Then we have the shade Awake, which is a light periwinkle shade. I'm obsessed with this shade too. It's so opaque, so buildable, easy to work with. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's gorgeous. Next up we have the shade Twilight. This shade is the only shade in the palette where that gave me a little bit of trouble. You can see it's applying a little sheer with the brush that I'm using here. I'm having a little bit of problems picking it up and transferring it onto my eye, so I end up using a different brush here that has a little bit more texture to it, a little bit more grip, and that ended up picking the shadow up a little bit better. I still don't love the shade. By the way, this is me applying it dry. I'm not obsessed with it, but once you actually get it onto the eye, it's pretty. Then I wet my brush. Using a wet brush and my finger definitely brings out this silvery sparkle. Next up we have the shade Moss. This is a matte mossy green. Really like it. It's really nice. No complaints. Pretty much same kind of thoughts as with all the mattes. There isn't really any dud mattes in here.
have the shade Lagoon, which is a really bright grassy green matte. Again, really nice, opaque, etc., etc., really nice. Then we have the shade Mood, which is a matte, deep navy shade. This is one of my favorite shades in the palette. It's so vibrant and rich. I love it. Next up we have the shade Wanderer, which is a metallic olive. Similar in formula to the shades Odyssey and Serenity, it's a really nice metallic olive green. This is me applying it with the dry brush. Now I'm wetting my brush and intensifying with my finger. Then we have the shade Ether. This is kind of the special shimmer in the palette. It's a purple, like lavender base with a green kind of blue shift to it. Really sparkly, so beautiful. I love this shade. Hands down my favorite shimmer in the palette. So sparkly, so pretty. This is me applying it with a wet brush now, and then intensifying with my finger. Then we have the shade Make a Wish, which is a pastel purple, like a light lavender. Again, really pretty for a pastel shade. It's really opaque and really nice. Next up we have the shade Echo, which is a really bright pastel sea blue. I don't know if that's a word, but it's like a really bright blue. I don't know if I have many shades like this in my collection, and it's so opaque. As you can see, it's really beautiful. And then we have the shade Mystical. This is a matte black, the last shade in the palette as matte blacks go. It's very nice. And this ends the eye swatch portion of this video. Okie dokie, so I'm going to, I think I want to do
I was gonna say pink and green. No, purple and green. That is my kind of vibe. Really inspired by the cover of this palette. So I'm first going to start, what do I want to do? Purple on the outside, I think. So I'm gonna start with the shade Mood. I thought about starting with the black, but I think I just kind of want to see how these really dark mattes perform stamped on their own. I have primed my eyes with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer. And let's just stamp it on. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to do a halo eye today. I'm going to stamp this in my outer corner and then bring it halfway into my crease, I guess. Like halfway, yeah, that's accurate, halfway through my crease. Okay, and now I'm going to take the shade Forest. Oh, by the way, I'm trying to get better about talking about the brushes I used. This first one is just an e.l.f. eye contour brush, and then this is just a random pencil brush. So that was not super helpful, but the e.l.f. one I think you can still buy. This one I actually stole from my mom when I was in high school, so anyway, okay. Now I'm going to take the shade Pixie on the outer part of my eye, and I'm actually going to use a Cosmic Brushes brush. This is the the brush CB3, which Catriona also sent me. One of Cosmic Brushes' brushes, which is, I just can't even get over how generous she's been, but anyway, I'll digress. Okay, so I'm going to blend this blue out with the purple. This might, we'll see. It might not be as purple as I initially wanted it to be, just because there's obviously not a dark matte purple, but I think it's gonna turn nice and purple when I blend this shade out with this shade. And so far, I mean, look at this. The mattes have been delicious. And now I'm gonna take the shade Forest, which is this green, and blend out the green side, basically do the same thing. I'm obsessed with the way the shade Pixie blended into the shade Mood. It's like everything I've ever wanted and more. These mattes are like so delicious, I can't even handle it. Okie dokie. I feel like I'm always on the side. Anyway, now I'm going to take the shade, I really want to take the shade, fuck it, I'm going to take the shade Awake. Because I would think that this is going to make this, oh my god. I would think that the shade Make a Wish is going to make this like more purple, but I can't not use this Periwinkle shade, frankly, so it's going to turn out how it's going to turn out, but I just want to. So I'm going to blend all of the purple half of this eye out with the shade Awake. And I mean, that was the only option. I seriously cannot get over how these mattes are performing. Like, and then I'm going to take the shade Sorbet, which I am so excited to use. Oh my god, I didn't tell you any of the brushes I've been using. I took the shade Pixie, oh I already told you that. With the shade with the shade Lagoon, I used the Blend Bunny before, and now I'm using the Sigma E33 for both. I just brushed it off in between. Anyway, I'm going to blend this green side out with Sorbet. So I'm going to take the shade Ether in the outer half of my eye and Wanderer on the inner half, but that's a lie because actually what I'm first going to do is take the shade Mystical, which is this matte black, and tap this on my inner and outer corners, just to add some extra depth. Okay, so now I'm going to take some NYX glitter primer and put that in the center of my lid. So, starting with the shade Ether, I'm going to tap this in the outer half. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my god, that's so sparkly. Holy shite. I love it. I'm just gonna wipe my brush off and take the shade Wander now, which is not quite the same texturally. Different vibes, but it's okay, I have a plan. But still super beautiful. Honestly, I love the shade of green. I'm just gonna do the same thing on my other eye. Okay, I did that on my other eye. I'm just gonna quickly blend Forest and Mood into the edges of the inner and outer parts of my eye. Okay, and then I'm going to take Ether and Wanderer on my fingers. Look at these shades, so pretty. Oh my goodness. And intensify them on my lid. I feel like because Ether has this green reflect, it actually works pretty well with this look. But then I think what I want to do to kind of lighten up Wanderer a little bit is take the shade Opal and just tap it lightly over Wanderer just to lighten it up and kind of give it that same iridescent quality, yeah, that Ether has. That is gorgeous. And then, oh my god, my hands always get so dirty when I do makeup. Anyway, I'm going to take the shade Twilight, which is this dark navy blue sparkly shade, on my finger as well, and tap this just in the very inner and outer corners of my eye. I like to do this when I do halo eyes with dark sparkly shades because I just think it's fun. I don't know. The more sparkle, the better, in my humble opinion. Okay, and then I'm going to take that same Opal shade and highlight my brow bone. Gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to just do the rest of my base and be back to show you the lower lash. Okay, so I did the rest of my base, blush, highlight. For highlight, I used the Cosmic Brushes Frosting Highlighter Trio because Katrina also sent this to me. I used the shade Blueberry Muffin, and then Katrina also sent this to me, the Makeup by Mitchell Do It or Blame It on the Blursh palette. I used the shade Hint of Innocence. And for cream blush, if you want to know, I used for the first time this Ilia multi-stick in the shade At Last. This was the like beauty, the Sephora birthday gift. This year it's like a plummy shade. I don't think I like these multi-sticks from Ilia after first use. They're just really dewy. Like really, really dewy and not that pigmented. But anyway, I'll try it again. Anywho, lower lash line. Okay. So, just keeping it same, taking the shade Mood, stamping this on the outer half of my eye, and then taking the shade Forest and putting this on the inner part, and then taking the shade Pixie, blending the outer half of my lower lash. And now I'm basically just doing the exact same thing I did on my top lid. Then Lagoon, blending out the green part of my eye. And then taking Awake and blending out this edge as well. And then Sorbet. And then I'm going to take Mystical, the black, and just deepen the very inner and outer part of my eye. Okay, and then what am I going to do? My favorite pencil brush to do this with is at my friend's house. So Riley, you're not gonna watch this, but I need my pencil brush back. Anyway, so I guess I'm just gonna take Ether on my finger instead and tap this on the outer part of my lower lash line, and then take Wanderer and tap it over the green part. Maybe I'll take Opal and just dab it right in the center And then take Twilight, which is the deepest of the shimmers, and just tap this over the very inner and outer portion and into my inner corner as well. Okay, and that's basically the look done. So I'm going to hop off camera, just finish up the rest of my face, do my hair and stuff, and then show you the finished look and give you my thoughts on the palette. Okay, and this is the finished look. I really, really, really love it. The only thing that I did was line my lips with the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao, and I used the Annabelle Big Show Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Avant Garde. I haven't used this in so long. It's definitely expiring. It does not smell the way it used to, that's for sure. And then I did these like little star design things. I don't know, I feel like I've been getting more into graphic liner-ish, but it's not really liner because I don't have any. I just used these two bases from P. Louise. This is the cosmetic base in the shade Summer Blues, and then this is the Acid Rain cosmetic paint in the shade Ibiza. This is the purple and this is the blue. I didn't have a green color, so I just used what I had, and then I just did two little like black lines on both of them. I don't know, I just think it's kind of fun. Catriona also sent me these, and then I used the Berry M High Vis eyeliner in the shade Strobe Light, I believe, yes, which is like a green that matches very well. And I really, really love this look. I mean, purple and green are always a winning combination. I feel like it kind of looks like the cover of the palette. Maybe not quite, but overall, I'm floored. I'm floored by how much I love this palette and I love this formula. This color story is so inspiring to me, especially having it in person and swatching it out. First of all, delicious and gorgeous and stunning, and then actually using the shadows was just everything I needed today and more, to be honest. I adore this palette. Even after, well, technically this is the second time I've used it. I use it in conjunction with other palettes, but I love this so much. And I'm so excited to, number one, do more looks with this, and number two, use the other two Cosmic Brushes palettes. And I low-key want to potentially, when they get back in stock, order the other Cosmic Brushes palettes that I don't have, because I'm obsessed with this. If I do say so myself, I love it so incredibly much. It's like just absolutely beyond. I'm so thankful to have this, and it was just a delight to use. Thank you once again to Catriona for sending this to me. It's like just words cannot describe how thankful I am. And also if you were considering buying from Cosmic Brushes, obviously I can only speak fully to this palette because it's the only one I've used, but I would recommend it. For $35, yeah, I would say it's worth it 100%, even after only using it one time. I am just so incredibly grateful and happy to have this in my collection. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have this palette or if you've been interested in this palette. I'm so happy it's not limited edition as well. And I would love to see you in my next video. Bye guys.